Hi, Asara here. So I'm on my way now to have lunch with an old friend of mine, Roger Hanson, who is also a spiritual teacher, a light worker. He's channeling different beings of light as well. And the wonderful part of it was he also was invited by this Japanese company to hold workshops and seminars and do the sessions. And I believe he has been doing this actually for a few years now with this amazing company called Synchronicity Japan. And so anyway, so we are going now to the Aloha table again, to the Hawaiian restaurant that has some vegan and vegetarian options. And so we finally can meet up again after such a long time. I can't wait to talk to him and to see what he's up to and how he is really serving the light. And so I'm on my way to the restaurant now, so come on with me. I'll see you at the restaurant. Bye. I'm here at the Aloha table with my good friend Roger Hanson.
Hello.
And we finally made it to meet in person.
So nice to meet you in person.
Yes.
After an initial online meeting and then a few communications back and forth through the internet, and it just so happened that we're here in Japan at the same time. I'm working with an organization called Voice, and I've been coming here since 2014, or no, 13 I think actually, 2013.
Okay.
And so I was just looking on the website to see who else was here, and there was your beautiful picture. I'm like, oh my gosh, a friendly face here, because I usually don't know anyone else.
Oh.
And so yeah, so it's nice to connect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to connect with you too. It's gonna be awesome.
It's an exciting place to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look here in the camera, so that's easier for the viewers, and we look at each other in the camera.
Gotcha. Okay.
So this is the. Do you want to focus here? I know we want to check back and make sure. I mean, Maine here. But,
it's a little humid and hot here
just
in
a little.
Tokyo. Oh my gosh.
Only 90%. That's all right.
I know. You just feel like you step out and it's like you jumped into the shower.
Yes.
So. All the Japanese women, I've noticed, they walk around with these little towels and they kind of...
Oh, really?
Yeah, they dab their face. I know.
Yeah.
I should too. Anyway.
So, Roger, tell our tribe here what it is that you are currently working on. What is the work that you're doing right now?
There's so many ways to describe it, but basically I work with art, and art is a process for me to connect with all levels of consciousness. So I guess in the widest context, I would say that I am teaching people to use art to explore the self and also to develop the self.
Yeah.
And then there's many different, more defined aspects that people can choose to go into, connecting with. In fact, the workshop that's coming up tomorrow is all about connecting to your collective consciousness, or what some people have called the oversoul. I mean, there's so many different words. It's just a wider expression of self.
Yeah.
And the way that I envision this wider version of self, or this collective consciousness, is that it's almost like a Big Bang. You know, we have the Big Bang in the universe around us, that's a reflection of how the self explodes and multiplies and divides and births into being. So I'm helping them to connect with all of those different parts of themselves so that they have a wider understanding of themselves, so they feel more connected and more empowered in what they're doing in their current life. So
nice. I love it. So you are channeling different beings, right? I remember you did a great channeling at the interview I did with you a few years back. So who are currently the beings of light that you are working with right now?
Well, I call my collective consciousness Maxim, and then from within that there is the Babaji energy. I also recently, there's a trio of Indian guru type energies that I'm connected to: Babaji, Sri Yukteswar, and Yogananda. And it's been an interesting journey of discovery for me to move through those energies. And so lately I've been channeling a lot of the Sri Yukteswar energy. Babaji is always present in everything that I do.
Yes.
And then I've got another energy that I call Leon, who is more of an art kind of energy. He guides me through that process. So yeah. And then a lot of my time is spent, I guess I'm fairly unique. You know, some people.
You are.
Well, I mean, a lot of channelers settle on one or two energies or three that they. And I feel like I'm kind of almost like a talk show host, and so I'll just open up and I connect with brand new energies all the time.
Oh, nice.
So, like some people work in a mediumistic way, you know, where they connect with different loved ones who have crossed over, and for me, it's more about connecting with these energies that want to come through and speak to specific groups of people, and then we work with it and mold it and allow it to be free and to speak to us.
Oh, how beautiful. I love that. This is a true conduit. This is the way of being a vessel. Just being open for whatever your audience or your client needs in that moment. Yeah, that is amazing.
And I think it's really kind of the reason that it is that way for me is because it matches my personality. I like to meet different people, new people all the time. I'm fascinated in the stories that people have to tell in my human life.
Yeah.
And so I think that's mirrored in the way that that I work in this wider context through channeling.
Yeah, that is amazing. How did you get started with all of this?
It was really by accident. In fact, it's kind of a joke that I tell all of my clients as I'm working with them, because I feel like everyone talks about how the imagination is unlimited, but I think the imagination is quite limited. It is based on our own belief systems, both conscious and subconscious, and what we use the imagination to pull together different pieces of what we already know in ways that we didn't expect. But there's no way that I would have imagined 6 or 7 years ago when I was sitting at my corporate desk job that I would have been working with pastels and connecting with consciousness and energy and channeling. I mean, that just wasn't even in my imagination. So that's really allowed me to kind of feel that there's something that comes out, that we do have a bubble of imagination, and that we're able to reach outside of that. And so I was playing with art, and I just found, because there was no agenda with that, there was no plan, there was no expectation with the playing with art, I just began to see letters and numbers and words and messages coming together, and it began to feel like they were talking to me, and then I felt like I was going crazy.
Yes.
And I think our table's ready. Okay. Okay, we'll be right there.
All right.
So anyway, art gave me a space of freedom that I played with, and it's taken me to where I am now, which is nowhere that I expected to be.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we're having a fascinating conversation right now about how can lightworkers get started, or how can lightworkers actually be successful in reaching more people or helping more people and fulfill their purpose with ease and with flow and passion and abundantly and with fun, because it's really supposed to be fun to be a lightworker. It's not supposed to be suffering. And so Thank you.
Arigato.
Arigato gozaimasu.
This is amazing. Right? Cheers. Or kanpai.
Kanpai. Sorry, we had to interrupt for a very important watermelon break. And so, so I was asking Roger here, what are your tips, or what is your advice that you would give a lightworker who is starting out, or who wants to really increase their work or their purpose and fulfill it better and easier? So what would you tell a lightworker?
Well, what was immediately coming to mind when we were talking about this earlier was this client session that I just had the other day. And it was a lovely young man that had come to explore this very issue. And he had quit his job, and he he had found this program with flower essences. And I mean, I'll admit I know very little about the flower essences, but I know that they can be powerful. And but really, what we came to, the question that was asked of him was, why did you choose to do the flower essences? And his immediate answer was, well, because it's a product that's already out there. It's a product that makes sense. It's something tangible that I can show people. There seems to be a structure that I can immerse myself into that will bring me some level of success. And then it was kind of told back to him, but you don't really like flowers, do you? And he says, you're right. And so this is the best advice that I can give anyone. Before you start off on this, you have to come into a place of understanding what your passion is. And that will be somehow unique for everyone because every person is different. But tapping into what you are passionate about, worry about the business structure later. And for the most part, people will have more than one single passion within them. Mm-hmm. Tap into a few of them and see how you can bring them together, like art and channeling, or whatever it is. A lot of people like to travel and channeling. Find all the different elements that you're passionate about and see how you can creatively bring them together. And then from that point of passion, figure the rest out. And it's not so much figuring the rest out as it is just allowing it to kind of birth and grow, which it will automatically do if you're truly tapped into your passion.
Yeah. And so another good point that you made too was that even if what you're doing is already being done, you had some very special advice about that as well, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, each person is unique, and I know that's kind of an overused phrase. But each person is unique because of the history that they have had, which has built up a series of meanings and symbolisms within themselves, definitions, beliefs, both conscious and unconscious. And so nobody can ever say exactly the same thing because it comes through their own filter. And so each person has a filter that is unique to them. So even if there is someone else out there ultimately doing the same thing that you're doing, it will come out different through your own channel, through your own vessel. Yeah.
And what if there's only one person, let's say, doing like angel readings or something, or is doing a Babaji channeling, but what if for some reason an audience member would resonate with somebody else much better? Well, it would be a disservice, right? If we would not offer the diversity of the messages. And so it's needed because there's so many different people who just resonate with different other people. And so it's really important to just be yourself because people are waiting for you to be you and to bring forth what you're meant to bring forth. I remember when I moved to Manchester, there were about 12 Adama of Telos channelers and another like 15 Saint Germain channelers, and there was. People always ask me, well, aren't you concerned about competition? And I'm like, competition? No, and I also understand that the souls or the energies of these masters is so vast and is so diversified that it needs actually different expressions here through the channelers so that each different aspect of these grand souls can be expressed. Let's say if a soul has one more stern or more serious aspect, then there might be a personality of a channel that fits that perfectly. And then you might have one that is more joyful, more happy, and more just light. It has more lightness. And that is perfect too because people just need different messages at different times. And I think so the bottom line of this advice really is first tune in with who you are and what you feel guided to do, what you feel passionate to do, and the rest will come later. The market will be created for you. Don't look at the market first and then create the work for it. So it's basically really switch it over, flip it. This is not business as usual. It's a different kind of business. It's a very special business, and it will carry you very far if you stay true to yourself and to your guidance. And the markets will be created for you, and your success will be coming automatically. You don't even have to look for it or chase it. It's gonna fall into your lap. So.
And I just want to kind of clarify for people what I think a lot of clarity is needed around this word passion, because I think as a whole, people are not used to giving themselves or allowing passion to be within themselves for a whole variety of reasons, and so passion in the minds of some people has come to mean something you're good at.
Yes.
And it's quite different than that. The passion is not what you're good at. Passion is what absolutely thrills you and excites you. Like you can hardly contain yourself. You are so excited about what you're going to be doing. And it's not the life either that you're looking towards, because with this other gentleman, I could tell he was passionate about the end result of it, like having working for himself and working in the spiritual community. There was great passion for that, but it was like the vehicle that was going to be getting him there he was not passionate about. And so be sure that you're tuning in to the very specific thing that you'll be doing day in and day out, and make sure that it's something that you can hardly contain within yourself, because there's that level of excitement about it.
So it's excitement, and it's also you cannot not do it. It's like my beloved, he asked me one time a question: if you had all the money in the world and you're all set, you don't have to do anything, what would you really do?
Right.
And that is the real question sometimes, because I think in the back of many minds of lightworkers is, but I still have to make a living, and somehow I have to pay my bills, which is normal, and it's somehow conditioned, and it's absolutely understandable. But there needs to be a moment where you just need to ask yourself, if you had everything you need, could you sit still? What if you, for example, were not allowed to do anything? It's even better sometimes. I just remembered. So I asked myself, if I wasn't allowed to do anything, how would I feel, and what would really want to burst out of me? Like what would fight its way through that, in a way? And that's your passion too. I think that's the fun part. That's when Source really wants to flow through you. And so once you have found that.
And I still think so. I have one more tip for everyone. And because even with that, I think there's so many people that still can't find, like they have no idea what their passion is. Like it's just so hidden from them for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what the reason is. So I have one more exercise for everyone to do, and this is based on a very real experience that I had. So not long ago, I was living in California, and I lived on the top of a mountain. It was in Southern California.
Nice.
And it was so high up that the clouds would come in, so we'd be literally looking down upon the clouds. And we had this hot tub outside. And one morning, it was before a retreat, I went out and sat in the hot tub. I was there all by myself. My husband and my dog were still in the house, and the clouds came in even more, and I couldn't see anything. I couldn't even see the hot tub. All I could see was my body in this cloud.
Oh, wow.
And because there was no other color competing with me, it was like my skin began to glow. It wasn't really glowing, but it felt like it was, because there was nothing else to look at but it. Everything else was just white.
Yeah.
And so my imagination started to run away with me, which was a fun thing to do. Because in that moment, it was almost like nothing else existed, because my physical environment had changed to support that imaginative thought. And so I began to imagine that, like, the house wasn't there, and my husband wasn't there, and my dog wasn't there, and nothing was there. And it almost started to feel real to me. Like, it felt like this real dilemma. Like I'm gonna have this spiritual mountaintop experience, and nothing's really real.
Yeah.
And then I imagined, like, when the clouds went away, that I would be walking out into this brand new reality, and everything that I knew about myself wasn't true anymore. Like, there was no Roger, there was no house, there was no husband, there was no dog, there was no job, there was no channeling, there was no anything.
Yeah.
And then this big question that was coming from, this consciousness was, what's the first thing that you're going to do? What is the first thing you're going to do? And for me, the word was explore. I'm going to go out and explore.
Yeah.
And so that helped me to tap into. So my passion isn't art.
Yeah.
My passion is exploration. And I explore through art. I explore consciousness through art.
Yeah.
So for all of you, if you want to imagine yourselves in the hot tub and the clouds coming in and stepping out into a new reality, and then ask yourself the question, what is the first thing that you would do?
Yeah.
That is going to be some sort of clue.
Yeah.
It will be an arrow kind of pointing you towards some level of passion within yourself.
Nice. I love it. Yeah. That's awesome. That is so good. So I really hope that these were a few tips, a few really pieces of inspiration to get your passion started and to really begin your work from within, from your guidance, and just follow your passion, and everything else will open up and everything else will fall into place. And so that was really awesome. Thank you so much, Roger.
That was my honor.
Yay!
My pleasure.
Is there anything that people can find on your website that would be of value, that they can get to know you and get started with you?
Yeah, my website, which is rogerhansonlove.com. Also my YouTube channel. There's lots of free materials available there, and I have lots of videos that take people through the art process that allows you to see it from beginning to end. And there's plenty of space for you to find your own messages and meanings through that. So that's what I would recommend.
Oh, that's amazing. I can tell you out of own experience how warm and loving the energies are that Roger is channeling. And I think you're like a 24-hour channel, because your energies even now are so loving. So it's really, really lovely. I can only encourage you to visit his website and to visit his YouTube channel and to really explore the energies, even if you don't think you're an artist. I can tell you that the messages and the energies you are receiving just by watching it, it's priceless. So, and who knows, and then you might even express yourself in art, or you never know where it takes you.
It's not about art, and that's what I still don't call myself an artist. It's about the process and the meaning that you find in the process. Some of my pictures I like, some of them I look at it with a critical eye. I don't like them so much, but I'm able to let that go, because it's the process that I'm interested in. And anyone can do the process.
All right. Well, Roger, thank you so much for meeting up with me.
I know, and I wish I was going to be here longer to see what you were doing.
I know. You should have come, but maybe next time when I'm in Japan, and maybe we can coordinate it somehow.
Oh, that would be fun.
Because I think we can. I'll talk to you guys later, and make sure to visit his website and his YouTube channel. All right.
Much love. Bye-bye.